we're here with Stanley Applebaum. Stan, how did it all start for you?
Back in the very, very early 70s, I bought a Midget, went midget racing with ARDC at Grandview. Drove for a couple of years, sold the car, was fortunate enough to get a ride from Larry DeMeo, except he wanted to run with SMRC. Ran with SMRC for a couple of years in Larry's Midget. Proceeded to buy a sprint car, got tired of the midgets. I drove Larry's sprint car for 2 years. The motor blew, he had no more money, and in the interim I started driving for Dick Mealy in his Offie Midget, and then continued to drive his Offie Midgets, and then drove for Dick Mealy in the sprint cars.
I also drove for Dick Mealy.
Yes, you did, in the 15.
Yeah.
I drove his little Mo Offie, and then he bought the big Mo Offie. And we had some pretty good success driving an Offie in those days. I finished runner-up in points in Flemington points. I finished third in SMRC points. Ran with the World of Outlaws once with the sprint car.
That's impressive.
At Flemington. Yeah, it was impressive running with those guys. We were running a URC 360 against their 410s, but it was fun. It was absolutely fun. And now I'm retired, sold my business, and I'm helping Paul Weissel, who was another racer that we started racing together, who has a small museum, and I'm helping Paul, and we are redoing antique midgets, which is keeping my hand in the racing game without racing. I'm going to be 75 years old. I'm too old to be racing cars these days.
Hey, listen, it's in the blood. It was always in the blood. It will continue to be in the blood.
Absolutely in the blood.
I know you were friends with my father. You guys laughed together. You cried together.
Yeah, we did. We had a great time together. I miss your dad.
Yeah.
He was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
I
we had a lot of fun.
I ran with you and ran against you for a number of years in the 80s with the SMRC midgets, and always enjoyed it, and it was a camaraderie that it was second to none back in those days.
Absolutely. It's not like that anymore in racing, but you're absolutely right. Everybody cared about everybody else. Everybody would help everybody. If you needed a part, it was there. If you needed somebody to help you work on a car, they helped. It was a great time in racing. And, I mean, I got to race with Len Duncan, Dutch Schaefer. I mean, these are some guys that were, you know, the pinnacle in midgets.
Iconic.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were, I mean, I could call Len Duncan and Dutch Schaefer my friends. They were my mentors.
How about that?
I got to meet Jim Hurtubise a couple of times through my father-in-law, or ex-father-in-law. That was a great deal of fun. He was, when I was a little kid, he was one of my idols. And I got to be at his house a few times. I actually have a picture home, me sitting in Hurtubise's Indy car, that Jim took with a Polaroid.
Front engine?
No, it was the rear engine.
Okay.
No, it wasn't the Mallard. It was by that time he had the rear engine. And Jim took the picture with his Polaroid and gave it to me.
Wow.
The unfortunate of it is, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't care about things back then. I didn't get him to sign the back of it.
Right.
But Jim was a great guy. I got to meet a wonderful group of people racing all over the country. I mean, it was just a wonderful experience.
And we're still a tight-knit group.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
What do you have for the plans for the future?
Just traveling some. I've retired to the Poconos. It's just beautiful up there. We're living in a gated resort community. Traveling, and like I said, I go down and help out at the museum. It's just a unique challenge.
Stan, an absolute pleasure to catch up with you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure seeing you again. I remember when you were just a young kid.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shower the people you love with love. Show them